Meeting is now streaming on Facebook Live. Hey, what's happening, Facebook world? I'm back, Word Wrestling Live, and we have a lady hammer at Brewton Parker College. She's their 101 pounder, Alexandra Martinez. She's a two-time girls state champ in South Carolina, four-time state placer, and she's a returning starter to the program. And then you'll get to meet her friend more tomorrow, Miss Lackey right there. And she'll be on the show tomorrow. And we have a bunch of their ladies coming on all week, and it'll be fun. But Alexandra Martinez, welcome to the show, Word Wrestling Live. This is Women on the Mat. So what's happening, girl?
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. Thank you so much for reaching out and coming on. I'm happy to meet you.
No, thank you for having us. It's like a big deal to get our name out there for Brewton Parker since we're like the first real women's team they've had in a while.
Good. Well, that's awesome, and it's great to see how much the women's wrestling is growing across the country. So it's great to see all the programs that are coming open, and then it's great to see not only the NAIA is growing, but we're starting to see girls get sanctioned at the division level too, right? So
yes,
that's great. I don't know what's going on here. Is any of your friends on Facebook right now?
My friends, you can let me see.
All right, I think we're good.
Okay.
We're having some problems. All right. Sorry, Facebook world. As I said, I'm here with Miss Alexandra Martinez. She was a two-time South Carolina state champ, four-time state placer. So what's happening? How is life there at Brewton Parker? You're in Georgia, correct?
Yes, sir. Honestly, life here is amazing. Like, it's a small town, but it's no difference to me because I live out in the country back in South Carolina. But I love it here. The atmosphere is great. The teachers are great. The coaching staff is great. The teammates are great. So overall, I really, truly do enjoy being here.
Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, I know you started your career over at Limestone, correct? And
Yes, sir.
where's Limestone at? Is that California?
No, Limestone's in Gaffney, South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I was close.
So, yeah. Just close to
Sorry, Limestone. You're welcome on the show anytime. But, what made that like kind of not the place for you and made you decide to make a change?
Well, originally I wasn't going to wrestle in college. I was really set on going into the Marine Corps and then a month before my ship date, I got medically discharged when I had an allergic reaction, and then I needed an EpiPen. So they tried fighting all the paperwork, and even till now, I was actually like the first day of school here is when they eventually said like the paperwork couldn't work at all. So once I kind of got discharged the first time, Brandy Green has always been my coach. She was my national coach for the longest time. So she kept reaching out to me, and I kept saying, no, I'm not going to college. No, I'm not going to college. And then I got discharged, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to college. So that's how that happened.
So the Marine Corps was your first love?
Yes, sir, it was.
Wow, what and unfortunate circumstances, and that's okay. Life wasn't meant to have you there, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm sure you'll do big things in the direction, whatever God's plan is for you. But that's awesome. So you obviously found a home now at Brewton Parker?
Oh, yes, for sure. I am very blessed to be here.
And this is your, what is this, your second season?
Yes, sir, I'm a sophomore.
Awesome. And what should we expect from NAIA this year? Are you guys hearing about being able to business as usual, or are they making you stay local and maybe only wrestle, Lakeview and Limestone and the places that are close to you, or can you guys travel and go to large tournaments again?
Well, so far everything's like said and done for us. Like we're traveling to Michigan in 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks we're going to Michigan. So there doesn't seem to be much like stopping us right now.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see wrestling is happening. Like I said, as long as people are doing it the right way, I think that there should be no worries. I was, like I told you, I was at an NAIA school by you this weekend, and everything was great. They took the protocols. They checked you when you came in. They put the X on your hand, and everybody got to wrestle. Parents got to come and visit, and I think as long as everybody.
That's how it is here. We come in and we have a green screen. Like we have to get temperature checks, or else we don't go in. And then Coach Dodgins and Tim go around with the defense soap bottle to everyone immediately. Like, you can't get on the mat, and then they have a whole different tray for your shoes to get in, for then you can step on the mat. And then they bomb the room like every weekend or something like that to get rid of all the germs. And after every practice, they sanitize everything down. So they're doing a really good job with that.
And that's awesome. And, I want people to hear that from everybody around the country, because I think, I think wrestling gets a bad rap as far as this whole thing is concerned, because I think people fear, well, body on body contact, right? But it's really not an issue. I mean, if you look at other sports, you're touching different people that you can't control all the time. But in wrestling, you're not going to, the 101 pounder. I mean, well, we'll hear your story about South Carolina, unless that happens. But typically you're wrestling the 101 pounder, right? I mean, it's not like you're touching other people.
It's like you're wrestling one person, not 50
Right.
people.
So it's controlled, right?
Mhm.
Look, Miss Lackey, if you're going to be in here, you got to say something. So what's up, girl? Where are you from? I know we'll hear more from you tomorrow.
Plum County, Georgia.
Nice. And how about the South doing it big at Super 32 this weekend?
They all had 5 people.
With 4 or 5.
Georgia
Five.
in the finals.
Was that only the boys though? Because South Carolina had one girl finalist, and they never put South Carolina on the list. So I feel like that was only for boys.
On the entire list?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the entire list, South
I
Carolina.
have to look at it again, because I know that Florida had one champ, and that was a girl, and it said Florida won on there.
Yeah. Well,
So I don't know, because I know Chloe won it down here. She just beast moded everybody. It was crazy. But yeah, the girls, I got to tell you, the boys are always fun to watch, and it was a great tournament, and there were some really good matches. But I found myself a lot, on Flow, how you can put like different boxes. I found myself always having the girls in 1 or 2 of those boxes, because the matches were just so awesome. And because it's a smaller pool, there's a higher percentage of great talent facing each other every single time, So just to watch, like there was a 1 and 2 and 1 finals. It was awesome. And I don't know, I enjoy it. So for me, but it's cool. So yeah, your Georgia really showed up, huh? Yeah. So anyway, back to you. Growing up in South Carolina, I know it's not sanctioned yet, but you obviously found wrestling, because here you are, a wrestler in college. Good for you. And tell us how you found it.
So I found it when I used to go watch my little brother and my older brother wrestle every weekend. And I think what really drew me to it was the lift and returns. Like the first time they told me that they were having a wrestling tournament and they invited us, for some reason I pictured them in like leotards and like WWE. So when he told me that, that's what it was. So like I asked him, I'm like, so they're like a ring? He's like, no, there's a mat. And I was just like, oh, I'm like, I've never heard of this. But we shut up, and I thought it was the coolest thing, and especially the lift and returns. That's what really got me into it.
Oh, I still call it, my kid gets mad at me because I still call it rounds and not periods.
Rounds, yeah.
I'm like, what round it is? Or what round it is? That's good, huh? What round is it? And he's like, it's periods, Dad. It's periods. How long have you been doing this? I'm like, I don't know. It's rounds to me. But he gets upset. Well, that's cool. You know what? You talk to a lot of girls, and it seems like that's kind of how they found their way. They're sitting there watching their brother. Mom or dad says, well, too bad. You got to go to practice and watch them because you got nowhere else to go. And then the girls are like, you know what? F this. I want to do it too. So throw me in, coach. And then that kind of how it happened.
Yeah, they were like, I told my older brother, I'm like, I'm going to wrestle. And he's like, no, you're not. And I was like, so I didn't get to wrestle that year, but I came out the following year, and yeah, it happened.
That's cool. Now, are your brothers still in wrestling?
Yes, sir. My older brother wrestles at Limestone University, D2, and then my younger brother wrestles at Lander University, also D2.
Is one of them named Alexandra Martinez?
No, Gustavo Martinez and Jawan Martinez.
Okay, because I looked up, you remember I told you your coach put you as, and I looked it up and there was an Alexander Martinez at one of the local colleges, whatever, but I figured Alexander Martinez is like John Smith, right? I mean,
yeah.
a bunch of them going to come up. So, man, that's cool. So, I I know when I speak to a lot of the young ladies, and I'm sure we'll have the talk tomorrow there, Ms. Lackey, but what kind of struggles have you faced, if any, coming up as a girl in a sport that's, predominantly boys? However, it's the number one growing sport in the country, women's wrestling, and we are starting to see the brackets become bigger and bigger and more prevalent, and we're seeing girls doing big things. But I know, speaking to girls in the college level and older, they had to face some struggles coming up because it wasn't always this way.
Yes, sir. Personally, for me, I don't feel like I've had a lot of struggles. I mean, in practice, I was always treated really fairly. I started off at Hillcrest High School, and there everything was really tough. Like the practices were intense; it was super tough. And then I ended up having to move because we moved, and then I went to Woodmont High School. And then again, I didn't get discriminated or anything. Everything was pretty fine. But like I said before, in South Carolina, we're not sanctioned. And then when we do have a girls' state tournament, again, that's not a sanctioned state tournament either. So they don't even count it as a real state tournament. Like they'll count it until it comes time to give you hardware, Then it's not a state champion. It's just a tournament, Like I know I struggled, like I never got rings for what I got, but the boys were like, oh, whatever they did, they got rings. But for me, it wasn't a real tournament because you're not a sanctioned sport, But going down to the tournaments, I saw that a lot of girls weren't getting treated the way I did. Like my coach made sure I had my headgear, my hair cap, and he made sure I had a singlet. It wasn't a girl cut singlet, but that wasn't a problem because I was always really small, so the singlet didn't really matter. But when I got to the state tournaments, I saw how unfair it really was when weigh-ins weren't even official weigh-ins. They have a scale in the room and a pen, and you just wrote down your own weight. There was three big gyms for all the boys, and then for us, they'd kick us into their practice room with one mat. Wow. So honestly, that delays everything. And then a lot of the girls, you'd see them, and they have to have their singlets tied back because their singlets are all the way down here. Because they're like, I feel like in South Carolina, we need to do better because no girl representing your school, I feel like a coach should know that yourself. Like, no one representing your school should come in something that doesn't even fit, at least.
Well, I mean, especially the ladies. I've got,
yes,
but the singlet covers them.
Yeah.
Like you don't want the ladies, running around in singlets. First of all, it's 2020. Like it's almost 2021. Like, are we still saying that girls shouldn't be on the same level as boys? I mean, I know a lot of badass girls out there, and I know most boys couldn't hold a candle to them,
Well,
like,
I don't even know what it is. It's just like when it comes to South Carolina, I feel like we won't be sanctioned for a long time. Like they're actively trying. Like Brandy Green is always trying to get us onto to get sanctioned, and I know Delgado has been trying to, but I just feel like people aren't buying into it, and I don't know why because there is a lot of girls coming out now. And again, our state tournament gets bigger every year, and then it goes back to we're not getting anywhere. Like they make money off of us whenever we go to the tournament, considering they have the entry fee, they have their concession stands, they have everyone who comes to watch the girls in general. They have all of them, and they can't even give us a decent room to have an actual tournament. They kick us into their mat.
Yeah, it really sucks. Now it's been, on a positive side, it's been good through the quarantine. I think some of the positives about coronavirus has been people have been able to focus more on some things they wanted to get passed, get heard, and we've seen, I don't know, 27 or 28 states get sanctioned. Florida has been one of them. 2021 tournament will be the 21-22 girls tournament. They will be in the boys gym as well. So that's awesome.
Yes.
And awesome for all the girls and the young ladies coming up, I know that you talk to some seniors in high school, they're like, oh man, right? But at least they know that they were part of this movement. The reason it's coming is because of what you've done in the past. So yeah, I don't see why all states shouldn't be sanctioned. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, girls basketball is sanctioned, right? Girls volleyball is sanctioned. Girls softball is sanctioned. Girls soccer, girls lacrosse.
I mean, I understand when it comes down to participation level. Like if two girls have one team at once, if one team has two girls on one team and then the other school has zero. I mean, I understand where that becomes an issue, but I still think there's ways to work around certain things,
I agree. There, you can make requirements for the school to have a sanctioned girls team. If you only have two girls, well, then they have to wrestle on the boys team, right? Or whatever that may be.
Mhm.
Or, I mean, I don't want that to sound like bad, but if there's going to have to be some sort of right give and take, like, why can't you say, okay, if we have 10 schools in the state that can fill a roster, then they all get to be sanctioned in that state tournament. They can be at the state, or their girls can qualify.
Right.
And even the schools that have maybe only two girls and they have to wrestle on the boys team, allow them to go at least and wrestle through the girls, you know, districts, regions, or whatever you guys call it there.
That's basically what I did too. I wrestled on the boys team the entire time until it came down to girls states, and while they were having a duel, I was able to go off and do my thing and then come back. So like, I
How
don't know.
about that North Carolina girl last year that whooped all the boys and won the state?
Heaven Fish, or
Yeah, I think that's her name. Yeah, but were all the girls like, hell yeah?
that was in North Carolina, right? Yes.
Yeah. It was still cool to see, right?
It was.
Hey, so what makes Brewton Parker, like, what do you love there? Why would you recommend other young ladies coming out of your state, out of the South, out of all over the country, and say, hey, if you want to wrestle in college, come give us a chance, come give us a look?
Well, honestly, I am very blessed to be at Brewton Parker because at the college I was previously at, I was always really sad over there, and I didn't really feel like that was the place for me. I was really down in the dumps when I was there. So then I was praying a lot about what I should do. I didn't want to wrestle anymore. I'm going through injuries right now. My shoulders are really messed up, and they're considering doing surgery. But everything was very bad. So I was constantly praying, constantly praying. I'm just like, I just need to get through the year. And then I decided, I'm like, I can't do it anymore. The team environment wasn't for me. And just the overall atmosphere wasn't for me anymore. So I decided I wasn't going to wrestle anymore. And I'm like, I'm not going to school. And then our coach, Dodgens, he DM'd me because we were talking already before about wrestling because he used to go to all the Life University matches. So he'd always see me. So he'd reach out to me and ask me if I was doing okay because he knew I was hurt. So he'd ask me about that. And then eventually I found out he was coaching a team, and I was like, yo, like, you're coaching a team? That sounds cool. And I guess what I liked about him was that he never threw wrestling at me. It was never I have a team, you should come try it here. It was just an honest, like, hey, are you okay? Are you this? So then when he told me he had a team, I was like, this sounds awesome. And then I gave it a chance, and I didn't even visit the school. Signed papers, and I said, this is what I'm doing.
Even with your brother up at your college, it still wasn't for you.
He actually just came this year.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Because I hear that a lot with siblings. They like when they go to college, they pick sometimes the same college just because
my brother transferred, so no.
Okay, it's a tough transition for a lot of. We'll talk about it, but I know it's a tough transition, and sometimes having a sibling there or a family member at the same school.
Yeah, I think he's enjoying it there, so I'm happy for him. But there, it wasn't for me. So then,
Yeah,
when I got here, everything changed. Like, it was honestly like a switch. I was so happy here. I am happy here. The coaching is amazing. Everyone's super positive. Our team environment in general, we do everything together. And when I mean everything, I mean everything together. Like, I absolutely love it.
Please don't elaborate on that.
Yeah, but like, everything is great. Our coaching staff is great. The teachers are great. The team is great. And we have joint practices with the boys and the girls. And they're also super sweet to us. They're super nice. They're always willing to help. I don't know. We're mostly doing some type of team bonding.
Well, I think that I saw. Let me see something here. It's on there. Jim Prevost said, "I'm trying to find the live interview with Alex, but it's there. It's on Facebook Live."
I think it's updated. He said, hello, Alex. And then he commented, too many old guard wrestling coaches who are anti-women wrestling. Easy to remove the sanction problem if everyone works to promote the sport.
Okay. So he found it. All right, good.
Yes.
I just saw something come over, but Let me see. I might have got a message from somebody. Let's see here. Yeah, Ashley at Life U invited me up for January 22nd, and I believe it's against you in Campbellsville. So I may get a chance, if I can make it up there January 22nd, I get a chance to meet you. Well, I'm meeting you now, but I mean like in person. Now, if you have cornrows in, you got to let me know, like, yo, it's me.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. I feel terrible. I've started to get out in public and meet people at these tournaments, but I've only seen them like this. So then I think there's some, like I literally, I posted something like, look, I found Coach George. And then someone, that's Coach Chris. And I'm like, oh shit. So then I found the real coach. And I posted, I'm like, just kidding, found him. You know, and then, or I was at the match this weekend that I told you I went to, and a dad came up and he's like, hey, I was on your show. And I'm like, I felt terrible. I had to go talk to him a couple of times, like, man, I'm bad. So I messaged him when I got home, like, I'll never forget you now, I promise.
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, it's tough because I don't remember everybody off the top of my head because there's been almost 400 since April 6th. So
Right.
it's been crazy. But you know what? Obviously, college life didn't start out the way you planned it to start out. And I don't think you had it planned at all because in your mind, you were going to be a Marine. That was your goal. And but as you said, things didn't work out. You ended up at Limestone. Wasn't a place for you. But now it seems like over the last year, 2 years, you're settling in. You're happy now with college life. You're gonna get through it and go on. What has that transition been like? I know my family, my son and my daughter, my daughter. I don't have a daughter, but we can call him a daughter. He may get mad at me, but no, I got two boys, 12 and 15, and my wife, but they're Hispanic, and I know in the Hispanic culture, very tight. Family is just incredible. So that decision to leave home and kind of go to college and do the whole college life, how has that transition been for you and how's it going?
Well, honestly, I didn't know what to expect because, like I said, I went out on a limb. I was just like, I'm leaving, and I know my mom was really sad, and I was just like, well, we'll see how it goes, right?
Yeah.
But I came down, and like, she's like, are you gonna come visit me? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like soon, but I know.
Yeah, so you're close enough. I remember my sister-in-law, my wife and my sister both went to the local college here, UCF, right? But then my wife went off to post grad, whatever, and then my sister-in-law went off and became a physical therapist. But afterwards, she decided she was going to travel. But when she moved back, she moved to St. Pete, which is like an hour and a half from us. So she's like, I'm close enough to go see my family, but I'm far enough where they're not going to be on my doorstep every single day. Yeah.
No, trust me. And the drive from it's 4 hours, which isn't. I mean, it's a lot. I don't know. Perspective wise, could be short, could be long. But the roads here, like I said, we're in the middle of nowhere, so all the roads are straight and farmland on the sides and deer everywhere and cattle. So the drive gets very boring. So yeah, they don't like making the drive that too much. But when I did have to go home once because I was put in quarantine because I had a slight cough and they sent me home right away. My mom showed up here so quick. I was like, okay.
Yep. That sounds, yeah. I mean, if we called my father-in-law, he'd be there in a minute. It wouldn't matter if we were 20 hours away. He's just that way. But what are you majoring in?
Early childhood education.
Oh, cool. So you would like to be a teacher?
Yes, sir. Especially for like, I prefer kindergarten or like pre-K or like a development center.
Yeah. You don't want to coach high school. You don't want to, not coach. You don't want to educate high school kids.
No, they have attitudes. They have.
Now, on another note, would you like to maybe one day open up a club in South Carolina and kind of give back to that state, or not just there, anywhere, and give back to the sport?
Well, personally, at our house, we basically did a thing where a lot of people made donations to get us. We have a little barn at our house. It's a decent sized barn, and we made a donation because we decided that we were going to open up a mat room. That's what we were going to do, and this happened this past summer actually. And we eventually got enough donations, and then ourselves contributing to it. My dad laid down the concrete, and then we added mats in there, and they call it the barn. And basically all the high school kids from the local high school at Hillcrest, they all come down. They all come down like groups at a time, and they all practice and they practice there. And basically everyone who donated, we're still in the process. We're planning on making a banner with all their names and putting it all in there.
Now, does your dad coach?
No, my dad does construction. My dad just supports us from the sideline.
Like me?
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad, so they were like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So now even while we're at college, they basically just text my brother, and then my brother texts my mom. So my mom basically opens the room for them, and everyone goes. But we're wanting to make something bigger to keep, kids having a place to stay.
Yeah, and one day, all the Martinezes will be home coaching. I'm sure even if you're teaching in the area, I'm sure at one, eventually, one of the brothers or you will be there to facilitate the program.
I'm pretty sure we want to do something for like low-income families when it comes to wrestling, because ourselves, we were low income for the longest time. So we understood the struggles of everything. Like I remember one time, my brother had gone to nationals and he was so close to All-American. And I was the following year, it was the girls staying in Oklahoma, and I'm like, I want to go. And my parents didn't have money to send both of us, so they're like, it's Alex's turn. And my brother was like, no, yeah, I get it. Like, it's Alex's turn. And I kind of felt bad because, like, this could have been his chance to All-American, and then I took it. But it was just the way it was. So, like, when we'd open the room, again, because we didn't have money when we were younger, and even now it's like everything has gotten so much better, but we know what it's like to struggle. So we want to open up a room and make everything, like, super cheap, super affordable for everyone to come in, regardless of your economic stance,
Well, that's awesome. And you know what? Hopefully there's a lot of young men and ladies out there in your age group coming up that have the same vision and the same wherewithal, because if everybody is doing that, then it's going to help the sport. Plus, there is a lot of kids that want to. I talk to club owners, and they'll tell me, you don't know how many kids we have here. Now, we don't promote it and we don't tell you who they are, but you don't know. We have kids here that we let wrestle for free, or we pay their dues, or we get donations to allow them to wrestle here. And a lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, well, that's a club for this place or that place or this school or that school, and that's an area that has money, but they don't realize how many kids come from all over the place to actually wrestle there. And it's good because, not every kid gets to see every kid, right? So if you're wrestling the same people all the time, how much better are you going to get, right? So it's good to kind of move around and stuff, which is probably why, like in the wrestling clubs, right, they'll do like rumbles and they'll say switch. Yeah, so I hear all that. But man, that's awesome, man. You're a popular young lady, man. They all love you. Look at that, studs. Well, they said studs, so that must be you, Lackey. You must be a stud also. Glad to see you happy.
Thank you, Mr. Prevost.
Dr. Jim Prevost.
That man is something else.
He's a good dude, huh?
He is. He was in the Army, and he tells us all about his stories. And he used to hype us up before our matches when we used to wrestle at Limestone. And he'd give us matches, and he'd be like, you guys think, what was it? So when you wrestle and you're like, oh, I'm going to kill her, But like he goes like, if that's the actual mentality you have, you need to have it. He's like, because personally, I have done it myself, And he's like, I know what it's like to take a life, and I know what it's like to do this. And he goes like, and I see that you guys are hungry, and I see this. And he was always so motivational. I absolutely love him.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. As I said, I've never really been. My kid is at a high school, but like I said, I made a trip this weekend to a school and watching the pep talk inside the hallway. So because of the corona and stuff, they can't really pack into the locker room because it's hot. So they kind of laid them out in the hallways. Yes. But you can hear the coaches like just hyping them up, and it was pretty fun to watch. I'm like, maybe make this fat old guy want to go fight someone. I can't even do it. But it was Sean Utley just commented, what college are these girls wrestling at? They are wrestling at Brewton Parker College, Mr. Utley. As you can see on her shirt, bam. They are Lady Barons, right? Is that what they call them? Lady Barons?
Yes.
Bam. All right. Are you ready for this?
Let's hit me.
Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Ooh. You know what? I was in Georgia and on the way back, shout out to Lane Farms. Awesome orchard out there. I stopped and got some apple butter and apple butter syrup. And as soon as I got home, we made pancakes. That stuff is good. All right.
Just are the way to go.
Gut wrench or leg lace?
Gut wrench.
Being from the South and Hispanic, you go grits or rice?
Grits. Well, no. Pause. Stop. This is live. Depends what type of day it is and who's making it. Take it back. Depends.
There's no rules to this game, so you can answer anything you want.
The time of day matters, who's making it matters, and what mood I'm in matters.
All right. So there you go, everybody. That's how rice versus grits is. All right. Ankle pick or high crotch?
Ooh. What do I hit? Yeah, I feel like I hit ankle picks more than high crotches, like all the time, because according to everyone, all of the coaches I've had so far, apparently I'm pretty tall for a girl, but in reality I'm only 5'2", but I see it because everyone else is kind of shorter than me, so I'm like lengthy and everything's just there.
Have Sean Utley said, I saw some great girls wrestling at Super 32. Have these girls ever wrestled at 32?
Have you?
Yeah, I wrestled going into my senior year, I think. Yeah, my senior year.
Nice. How'd you do?
1 and 2, 2 and 2, something like that. It was pretty rough.
Tough tournament.
Pretty sure they just did a girls division. Like the girls division is new. I'm more than positive, isn't it? Like it was like it's probably like 2 years ago now, 3, but it's new.
Yeah.
So like the first time that Super 32 came out for girls, I wasn't ready yet because obviously it was freestyle. I was only doing folk style. I knew kind of nothing about it, and I was again it was new because it was only boys, and then they added a girls division. So no, I've never participated in it.
Oh, and that's okay. Is that okay for you, Mr. Utley? Did we answer your question? Anything else? No? Good. All right. Please feel free to keep asking questions, Mr. Utley. I have no problem getting them to the girls for you. They're actually looking at the feed too. So if you have more questions, feel free. All right. Fries or tater tots?
Tater tots all the way.
I love
Sweet potato tater tots.
Sweet potato tater tots? I love sweet potato fries, but I've never had a sweet potato tater tot.
Tater tots are good, are super good. See, she says they are too.
Ooh, I gotta find me some sweet potato tater tots.
They're super good. Like you'll never go back to the plain
Oh,
tater tots.
I like it. All right. Arm throw or arm drag?
Drag. All the way.
Single leg or double leg?
I guess I'd say high crotch there, but that's not an option. So I'll go to low single for that one. So
Low single to a high crotch?
something there.
All right. Here's a very important question. Gummy bears or Sour Patch?
This one's hard. Sour Patch. It goes back depending on the day and what type of gummy bears they are. But Sour Patches.
This is like grits and rice?
Sour Patches. I go with Sour Patches.
Dr. Prevost says head ties or hand fight?
Hand fight all the way. Take them into deep water.
Bam. Like it. Suplex or headlock?
A suplex if I can get it, but headlocks are kind of dangerous. Like you go the wrong way and you're the one getting turned and stuff like that. So I'd go with the suplex.
Yeah, you know, my son says that too. Like we were somewhere and it was a clinic and they were getting, the clinician was doing headlocks, right? He's like, take the baseball in your hand, throw it over, you know, like doing it. And I'm looking at my son like, man, that's awesome. Headlocks. He goes, yeah, but every time I do one, I get turned.
Yeah. It's like, especially for girls, because we both have like our main structure is in the hips. So like if we try to throw it, it doesn't go down as easily because you're still fighting it off. That's why I go with the suplex.
Nice. Yeah, because I mean, it's really cool to see a headlock done the right way. But yeah, I guess as a fan, I'm like, yo, you see that headlock? But as the kid doing it, he's like, no, it's no bueno. Because I get hurt all the time. It's no good.
You see the memes they do, it's like never teach no, what is it? It was like a college match and someone executed a head and arm, and they're like, never show a good head and arm to little kids because they'll start hitting it every time they do it, every time they see it.
I tried to get my Dr. Provo says best takedown setups.
I feel like what I do a lot is I come into a drag and immediately into what do? I come into a drag into a high crotch, don't I? I do that a lot.
Do you guys drill against each other?
We used to.
Not lately.
Not lately, yeah.
He won't let us.
He won't let us. We're too butt buddies to be drilling.
You guys won't go hard against each other.
Yeah, he stopped that like the first week.
Yeah.
He stopped it.
He was like, yeah,
When I was at that green versus black thing,
Mhm.
that Coach Omi was like, look, I don't care if you guys are friends. Tonight you hate each other, motherfucker. Tonight you got to wrestle.
Today, so I actually, my drill partner is Gabby. You'll talk to her on Thursday. And me and her really do, we push each other really hard. Not that me and Savannah didn't. We're silly when it comes to each other. It's like, so.
It's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to see that the girls are sanctioned now. I here in Florida, I hope your state gets sanctioned because I have not been to the state tournament for the girls. They had one, obviously it's not real, right? But it was real to us. We believed it, right? But I heard that they do a lot of like dancing and singing and having fun there, like just being girls and being kids and doing that. But then when it's time to fight, they fight, right? So it'll be awesome to kind of get that into the atmosphere, and I think it'll pack the gym. We get a pretty good following at the boys state tournament, but if the boys and girls are side by side, I think we're really going to see the numbers kind of go up. So it'll be awesome.
You said Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida, their girls state championships are huge.
Yes, it's grown to where this year they were at 360 girls or something, I think. I could be close, but it wasn't sanctioned, right? So, they do the best they can to give the girls what they deserve.
Mhm.
However, I'm happy to say the 21-22 season is when they start on the big show. So it'll be fun to watch. It'll be exciting. And it's been exciting learning and getting to meet all the ladies across the country who are wrestlers, and it's pretty cool to watch. So good for you girls. I can't wait to speak to you tomorrow, Miss Lackey. Everybody got to meet her today, but we'll really get to meet her tomorrow.
If you can get her to talk.
Yeah. Well, she didn't want to talk during your interview. You guys are buddies, so she was here for moral support.
That's actually what happened. She was waking up, and I'm like, "Can you come sit with me?" She ran over.
You guys can't see it, but they're holding hands down below, like, keep me calm, keep me calm.
Oh God. If you hear the thing, we're super close. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah, I could imagine. But that's very cool. And you said you have a boyfriend? Does he wrestle too?
No, sir. My boyfriend's a Marine. So is my brother. My brother's a Marine too. But no.
So they just watch you wrestle.
Yes, he's actually a really good supporter though. He goes through all the weigh-in process with me, the weight cutting process with me, the whole support, the school thing. So he's a great boyfriend. He is. He supports all the way.
Shout out to that Marine, and know that your friend Lackey and Brewton Parker are taking good care of your woman. So good stuff down here. Well, hey ladies, man, this has been so awesome. One of my favorite interviews ever. I had so much fun. You guys are awesome. And like I said, I hope to make it up January 22nd. Ashley Sword invited me to that tournament, and I think there's 3 teams, and you guys are in one of them. I think it's you, Brewton Parker, Cumberlands, and Life U. So I hope to be there. My goal is to get up there, and I'll get to meet you ladies off the camera. Yeah, it should be a good one.
I'm not sure if I'm wrestling, but Savannah, you'll definitely get to see Savannah show her stuff because, like I said, I'm injured, so there's very few tournaments that I actually will wrestle at. Considering they're considering doing surgery, but Savannah, you'll see her whoop some butt.
That's right. They'll just get you through the body shop and get you fixed up, and
Yes, sir.
you'll be back. Well, awesome. Hey, thank you, ladies, for being here with me. Thank you, Miss Martinez. Keep kicking
Yep.
lights ass. I can't wait to meet you tomorrow and again and talk more. And thank you to your brother and your boyfriend for serving our country. Hell yeah, fucking hoorah, Marines, and good for them. And you have a fantastic day and a fantastic week. And again, I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and tomorrow I'm guessing we're gonna switch spots, right? You're gonna be the girl in the little corner, giving her moral support, and we'll have. All right, I got it. Well, any shout outs you guys want to give or anything before we go?
Shout out to Dodgens, our coach, for getting us on the show. Shout out to you for having us. Shout out to my mom who's watching, Mr. Prevost, of course, and everyone who asked us questions. Thank y'all for supporting us. And again, just thank everyone for supporting us in women's wrestling. And yeah.
And South Carolina, come on, step up, right?
Unfortunately, yes, South Carolina, please come to your senses and give us what we need, please. I love you all, but please.
and maybe grits, maybe rice, maybe gummy bears, maybe Sour Patch. We don't know.
Today was definitely a grits day, and today is definitely a gummy bear day. So
now, are grits best with a breakfast, or are grits best with a lunch or dinner meal?
Me and Savannah eat grits at 3 a.m, sitting in the living room floor.
So that's like whatever time, whatever meal happens at 3 a.m. That's probably.
It's an everyday snack.
Have you put your Latin flavor on the food in the dorms?
Probably.
Like you bring like the adobo?
What do I do? I feel like I did something where someone was staring at me.
Sazon.
Because I don't think the cap was serving something, and it was just flavorless. So I went to the counter and I got all these hot sauce packets and a whole bunch of salt, and I just started dripping it all over it. And one person asked me, they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This food has no flavor."
That's
like sprinkling it all over.
I used to say that she's 43 and I'm 44, but we've been together since we were 20.
Right.
She'd be like, "Damn, you white people put no seasoning on stuff." And we think we're doing good. We're stuffing garlic into stuff, and we think we're doing good. But
like the thing about going to college and then eating food that you're not really used to, because again, I'm used to eating the certain types of meals, and sometimes I have to ask Savannah or whoever's in the line, I'm like, "What is this? Like, what is that?" Like meatloaf, I still haven't gotten the courage to try it. They were having it yesterday, and I thought it was going to be the day, and I was like, I can't do it. Can't do it.
Haven't quite made the transition.
Yeah, not yet. But
all right, well, hey, Dr. Prevost, thank you. He said great interview. Shout out everybody on here that commented. Thank you so much, and I'll see you two again tomorrow.
Shout out to Dr. Prevost. I didn't get to say it, but thank you for always motivating me and for loving me the way you do, and for always getting me through the hardships of when I was injured. And I really look up to you, and I have great respect for you, and I can't wait to see you one day again.
Yes, come watch her duels.
But thank you.
My pleasure. See you, ladies.
Bye.